Marhaba. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our podcast. After 2 years of dealing with the challenges that the pandemic COVID-19 has given us, industries and companies are facing multiple issues still lingering until our days today, be it supply chain disruptions, be it staff shortages, or even inflation. And the tech industry is, of course, not immune to all these challenges. Even more so, they have to work harder to cope and innovate and rapidly respond to the evolving changes that the industries are requiring of them, companies, and of course, our customers. So on this very important topic, I'm very pleased to welcome my colleagues from the tech team to this podcast, starting with Kamran Abbasi. He's our Chief Information and Technology Officer at Chalhoub Group. John Mcnulty, our partner of tech for our managed companies or the brands that we represent in the region, and Aurelien Cuellar, who is the tech partner for our joint ventures. And last but certainly not the least, our head of people for the operations vertical, Sara Hijazi. Thank you very much. My name is Lynn AlKhatib, and I'm the group head of communications at Chalhoub Group. So thank you very much for taking time to join this podcast. It's a very exciting topic. I will try to keep up with all the acronyms that you're going to use, guys. So let's take it easy on me. But I'd like to really start, with you, Kamran, being the Chief Information and Technology Officer. For a group like Chalhoub Group to have that title, for me, it means that, we take tech very seriously, right? Tell me a bit more about the challenges, the macro challenges that you are facing and the tech industry is facing in general today.
I think there's many challenges that we're facing today. One of the biggest ones that we have is attracting and retaining talent. Everybody in the tech industry, and we've never seen anything like this before, is after the same talent. And that talent pool is very, very small. That hasn't been helped by macro factors like the war in Ukraine, the post-COVID effect where people are now happy to work at home, and that migration to new countries and new experiences has slowed down. Other factors such as, people 10 years ago would look for technology guys, very technical guys, but the archetype of a technology person has changed. People are looking for a lot more domain knowledge, customer centricity, people who partner with the business. And at Chalhoub, our technical guys are really important that they partner with our business. We in Chalhoub, have different dynamics as well. 2 years ago, we were 2% in terms of our female employees in tech. We're now at 29%. So that's finding the right talent in terms of female as well, in already a smaller pool, makes it even smaller, more difficult for us. That's, attracting talent. Retaining talent is another problem. Because technology people now want to work on the latest technologies. They want to be pushed, they want to be challenged. And we at Chalhoub, what we're doing is really developing our people. And Sara will be able to tell you a bit more about that. Developing our people, but really challenging them, exciting them. It's my job as, a CITO to make sure that they're working on the latest technologies, growing them and developing their careers.
That's very interesting. We always say that, human first, people first, and also serving and delighting our customers. So I think he already gave you a little bit of a heads up on the topic of people. Why? If we still focus on the macro challenges, why is there a shortage?
It is important that when we're looking at attracting talent, that we look at investing in them as well. So even from a talent growth opportunity and from, opportunities within the organization, also looking at diversity, making sure that there's inclusion, looking at the overall picture and not just attracting talent, but also, like you said, retaining them as well. What are we doing to retain them? What benefit is it in them to remain within the organization? How can we grow and develop leaders? What skill set do they need to work on and enhance? So they're key factors that we need to take into consideration when we're retaining talent, particularly female talent as well, because there is a need to grow female leaders within the group and across other global organizations. So investing the time in them and doing the right thing by them in terms of growth, development, putting them on external courses to enhance their skill sets are things that we need to consider and things that we are currently doing at Chalhoub.
I think what's often overlooked is succession planning. A lot of organizations, it's an afterthought. And it's really important to get that balance right between, and what we're doing in tech is having graduate or trainees who we're growing and developing, and hopefully one day will be our next tech leaders. But it's really important that, that's taken into account as well.
Yeah, I think. I think succession planning is a key item on the on the HR agenda as well, and we're not some employees may not potentially be ready at the moment, but what can we do to prepare them to be a successor in a key leadership role? So that's something that I think
this topic is very important to talk about people and succession planning. And if you were to, you mentioned something very important, which is the tech skills and the expertise, but more the people and the partnership capabilities, which is more the behavioral aspect of things. So when you look for people in Chalhoub Group, because you'd imagine, tech graduates would want to work in startups or, innovate, create something cool. How does it work if they want to still do that and have that mindset and they want to work with our group?
Well, we do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, we
right?
do.
So it's not just startups to do that. Look, there's two types of things. There's corporate exploration and corporate exploitation. And exploration is a lot about innovation and playing and dabbling. And as a group in our DNA, from the last couple of years of our digital transformation, we have that startup mentality in a lot of the stuff that we do across the group. And that kind of attracts a lot of our new talent that come in. We're working on the latest cutting edge technologies that they might not get elsewhere. And we have a big pipeline and strategy, driven by our consumer demand and our consumer needs, which excites a lot of the people who want to come to Chalhoub.
And I think that's a very interesting point, Cam, because you're right. There's almost those kind of like the two kind of like the sides of technology. In some cases, having those kind of fail-fast exploration type activities is very important for the brands, whereas in some cases it's appropriate to have that enterprise tool set. So the organisation can be both enterprise in its nature, but at the same time have these projects that are small, nimble, and allow us to explore opportunities. And we need the skill sets to be able to do both types of activity.
No, I think you tapped into two things which are very important to our group, which is one, keeping the entrepreneurial spirit, which is our core values, but also embracing failure. And I think most, startups is what they're known for is, yes, they fail, they go fast, they try, and often they are demotivated with big groups or companies. And I think this mindset would really also help in having that same spirit, the same environment, which you have a safe zone to fail, but then try again, as long as it's not detrimental neither, to our partners and our consumers. So Aurelien, I think you're very eager to talk about our strategies and ERPs because, going back to the impact of the pandemic, the challenges we faced, there was already a tech transformation that we started from 2017 in a way, and there were a lot of changes, but then you had to again transform and super fast. Tell us a bit more about those challenges.
Yeah, very interesting point. So actually, yes, we have seen that the pandemic spiked the pace of transformation. So we have to also keep up with everything related to information technology and information system as well. And now we think that we are seeing the end of the tunnel in terms of pandemic, but it doesn't mean that we have to slow down. It's totally the opposite. In fact, we're in a world where the technology is extremely disrupted, and we have to be every time thinking where we are today, where we want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and be in advance on the competition. So the good example that we have is that 2-3 years ago, right, when the pandemic came, we had to develop a lot of websites and to ensure that we can still have e-commerce website for our brand and we can still have sales, even the store are all closed, right, at this time. So we really focus on the delivery at this time and not on the architecture. Now that we have much more maturity on all the topic of e-commerce, and we have also a lot of other team, digital, e-commerce, performance marketing, e-tailer management, which are within the group, we can have we can have time to step back and think where we want to go. And this is where Cam is thinking to develop a new gen of headless e-commerce for the group. It's extremely important, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to what Aurelien said, during the pandemic and even now, a lot of investment has happened in the digital world. And that will continue to grow. But what was left was the back office and the stores. And what we're seeing now is a lot of retailers are now looking back and fixing a lot of the legacy technologies to support the digital growth. And we see that trend, and that's what we're doing at Chalhoub as well. We're trying to work on efficiencies in our supply chain, in our ERP, and also looking at our stores and how do we create immersive experiences for our consumers in our stores where we can, there's no distinction between the online and offline world. That consumer immersive experience is all one.
And that's something I'm very kind of passionate about is that kind of that merging of the in-store and the digital. So I mean, we're talking earlier on about some of the exciting projects we're doing at Chalhoub. One of the things we launched last year was the clienteling project. So rolling out a technology application to help the frontliners with their clienteling endeavours. We launched last year in Level Shoes, Versace and D&G, and a lot of effort was spent this year ensuring that the application fully met the frontliners' needs and that all of those training and change management considerations were taken care of. And what we have seen is in the last 2 or 3 months, a huge uptake of the application across all of the metrics we are using to measure performance. What's really exciting in building on Cam's point is that now that we have the plumbing correct for the application, we're really trying to create that hybrid experience for the customers. So being able to contact or engage with that customer irrespective of where they are. Even if they come into store and start speaking to a frontliner and choose not to purchase at that point in time, they can continue that consultation, conversation and actually check out or transact remotely via e-commerce. So really the conversation can start online, finish in store, or start in store, finish online. It really is allowing the customer to engage and transact irrespective of where they are.
That's true. I'm a living proof of that. Last weekend I went and I spent 2 hours in the mall. I looked at all the products and then I went online and I just purchased it online. I just found it much easier. And I love that in store there, you don't feel that pressure that they just want to sell you in store or online. I think they care about ultimately what makes, me happier and more comfortable. So
and this is really interesting. 2 points here. One, our consumer behavior drives our technology strategy and the demand. It's not the other way up. So everything we do in technology is driven by what our consumers want, what their behaviors are and their needs are. Now, what you said about going into the store, that look and feel, and then buying online is a common trend. And that's one of the criticisms of online over the last, forever, right? You don't have that physical experience. And we can't mention technology without talking about the metaverse, right? Yes. It's such a hot topic. But if we narrow it down, the impact of the metaverse on online retail, and I think that's what it will be. It will be the fact that consumers can go into the metaverse, have that physical experience or virtual experience, and then they end up buying offline. So starting online, the journey, and ending up offline.
In regards to the metaverse, metaverse commerce is certainly quite nascent, but already we're seeing the progression towards that. So metaverse is obviously virtual reality. Augmented reality is already there. As you know, we have augmented reality on our e-commerce sites already. We have virtual try-on for makeup. Tanagra last year launched augmented reality on their website. So if you're looking at a vase or some objet d'art, you can place that in your home and see how it looks on the shelf, on the table, etc. And that is having a huge impact on conversion for those products.
And when we go back maybe a bit to people, how do you, for example, let's make it a bit real, you were talking to someone who's applying for a tech job or there's an opening, what is the level of automation in this, like that we just buy a service, we partner with a provider versus we need the people to drive this and come up with the ideas and innovation. How does it work and what's the percentage that you ask?
To be honest, from my skills within the HR world, I guess interviewing candidates for Chalhoub in particular, the reputation of the brand stands for itself, and the technology that we have out there as well, again, holds a strong reputation in comparison to other global organizations that we have. So it does kind of sell itself in a way, but I guess it's embedding that thought process into the candidate's mindset, and having a full understanding of it from a technology perspective helps. In saying that.
Yes, a lot of people, the competitive salary and the benefits are important, and we're pretty competitive at Chalhoub, but we offer something much more than just that. We offer people the chance to grow or be part of a journey with us, to really give consumer value or customer value back through the technology that we build, and really have a strong career path. And that's, not many organizations can say that they can do that, but we have living proof of a lot of our people who have internal mobility, who have progressed in their career from technology.
And it's a community. You're joining a family. You're not just a number on a seat. You actually are joining a family, and that's really evident from when I first joined Chalhoub. I didn't feel like I'm coming into an organization where I'm just a number on a seat. No, I'm actually a contributor, and I'm part of a wider family, an extended family. So that in itself is a massive difference.
I came when I said I'll be here for a year, and 6 years later, I'm still here. So we must be doing something right.
I still feel that I'm new, but it's already almost a year here, so it just feels like I've been here forever, and I love that about the culture in general.
So it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Aurelien, I think just talking about the exciting projects that are in the pipeline, obviously Kamran is excited to ensure that as a servant leader in the group and in tech, he's really giving these opportunities and doing his job best in class. John talked about clienteling. What are exciting projects you're working on?
So actually there is a lot of projects which are very exciting that we are working on. But for me, I would like to just jump on one John said. For me, I see two challenges. The first challenge, John is mainly working with managed company, which are franchise and own concept, and I'm working with JV. The main difference that we have is that in the case of John, except few exceptions, we're all using all our systems. So every time there is a new system or a new service which is coming, such as clienteling, which is very great, it's easier for him to implement it for the managed companies because they're already using our CRM or ERP, and you can make the connection and the integration. In my case, with the JVs, I have different business model, but most of the case they're using other systems which are hosted by the HQ wherever in Paris, in San Francisco, in Barcelona, etc. So it's extremely difficult for all of us, right, to ensure that we have strategy which are coming, and the ERP strategy is something that we are talking about now, right? It's a crucial topic because we implemented an ERP more than 10 years ago, so we have to think how to change it and what will be the next way. So we have to ensure that we will have a system that will answer both requirements of different brands which are going to use it 100% and some other brand that we have to be integrated. So this is really a key challenge for me working with the JV. The second challenge that I have is that we are working on a lot of projects which are really on different trends of the new tech and the new trend in technology that we are seeing. So we are working on metaverse projects, on NFT and on crypto and etc. And I think that it's important as a group that we not underestimate the power and the impact of metaverse and Web 3.0 in the coming months. But we cannot focus only on that, right? We have a lot of things that we need to focus on. And the next trend, it's metaverse for sure. And we'll have to keep up, especially on the fashion industry. But the hyper-personalization of data, it's extremely important. More than 70% of the global consumer wants to have customized product and services which are offered to them. So data will be really key and essential and how it's moving between all the system. The connected store, right? So we are talking about blockchain and Web 2.0, but there is augmented reality within the store. We are still not there, right? And a lot of things that will help the consumer to have a better experience. And there is also drones, right? The delivery of tomorrow will be done through drones. They just launched it, I think, this morning in California. So we have to keep up, right? And this is the funny thing for me, and the key challenge that we have in Middle East, but to make it fun, is that we are having two paces which are running in parallel, where sometimes we are very late on some tech and trends compared to the rest of the world. But on some other, we are very in advance, and we have to make sure that those two paces are moving together and making sense.
Thank you, guys. In the interest of time, maybe I'll just ask Kamran. So according to a McKinsey study, it is anticipated that luxury or fashion companies will really ramp up their investment in technology from around, let's say, 1.6, 1.8% of their sales in 2021 to 3.5 by 2030. So will you increase this investment, and where do you think the biggest priority for you will be in the next 5 years? I won't say 8 years.
I think the pandemic really created that surge of IT investment or technology investment. And that's a long shift, and it's continuing. But at some point, there will be a time where we have to have an equilibrium, where that cost is brought back to effectiveness. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because businesses need to compete and differentiate themselves from other people. So we need that investment. The investment will split between digital, which it's been for the last couple of years, but now I think the investment will now focus on back office, supply chain, last mile, and a lot of the ERP strategies. We will continue to grow. Because we are disrupting ourselves as a business. We have new lines of business. We have, new business models coming out, and our consumers are not going to wait for us to, sit back. We need to grow. We need to give them the right level of services. So our top, priorities really in terms of investment will be to continue to give that customer experience online and offline, that immersive experience, like Aurelien mentioned. Personalization. We've got to get to know our customers better. We've got to get to know them in a lot more detail. Immersive experiences in store, augmented reality in store, the ERP transformation, our efficiencies in our supply chain and our last mile. And it's all connected to the customer, giving them that better experience, giving them that amazing experience. And that's something that we're very proud of. And it is part of our DNA. We've always said customers at the heart of everything we do, and our investments replicate that as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for your time and this interesting conversation. I know we can go on forever, so I'd like to leave the room for all our audiences to give us feedback, comments, connect with us as well, to take this conversation forward. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next podcast.